Imagine sitting in a deeply buried, highly classified military bunker. An artificial intelligence system pings. A human commander looks at a screen, spends exactly 20 seconds reviewing a target, and clicks authorize. In that brief moment, the fate of a nation is sealed. Welcome to the new face of war. On February 28, 2026, at exactly 8:10 local time, the world witnessed a historic and terrifying first. The United States and Israel executed Operation Epic Fury, the very first time an AI-led kill chain successfully hunted down and assassinated a sovereign head of state, Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. This wasn't a traditional ground invasion. It was a flawless synchronization of cyber attacks, space assets, and autonomous drone swarms. The era of messy ground wars is evolving into what military theorists are now calling a mass assassination factory. Today we are going to break down exactly how this happened. Welcome to the AI with Arun Show. Let us get started. This sci-fi reality didn't just appear overnight. It was the result of 3 years of intense, escalating technological warfare. Think of the years between 2023 and 2026 as a massive testing ground. It started during the 2023 Gaza conflict with AI systems like the Gospel and Lavender, which were used to identify targets on a massive scale. By June 2025, during conflicts like the 12-day war and Operation Narnia, the military used AI to simultaneously hunt down nuclear scientists and senior commanders. Finally, in late February 2026, nuclear negotiations broke down completely. U.S. President Donald Trump issued a strict 10-day ultimatum. When Iran didn't comply, U.S. intelligence determined they didn't need a ground invasion. They could surgically remove the Iranian leadership using Silicon Valley's newest tech. To pull off a strike this massive, you need a brain that can process unimaginable amounts of information. Enter Palantir's Gotham 5 system. Historically, the CIA and Mossad had a data silo problem, meaning satellite images, intercepted phone calls, and spy reports were all kept separate and had to be manually compared by humans. Palantir broke down those walls using a technology called Ontology. Think of Ontology, like the code in the Matrix, translating raw green text into a 3D world you can actually see. It took abstract signals and turned them into actionable objects on a holographic screen, like Khamenei's vehicle or security patterns. Commanders were essentially looking at a real-time digital twin of Tehran, watching the government move like pieces on a chessboard. Now, how did they get all that real-time data? They used Palantir's meta-constellation to orchestrate a massive web of satellites in space. In the final 24 hours, engineers embedded with the U.S. military made sure at least 3 high-resolution satellites were cross-checking the target at all times. They used different kinds of tech for this. High-res imagery made sure they weren't looking at a body double. Synthetic aperture radar, or SAR, allowed them to literally see through cloud cover and smoke. But the most mind-blowing part? They used signal intelligence satellites to track the electromagnetic pulse of the actual elevator inside Khamenei's deeply buried bunker. They knew exactly when he was going underground. But having a map isn't enough. You need to predict what your enemy will do next. This is where artificial intelligence language models come in. Specifically, a highly classified version of Anthropic's Claude 3 opus, dubbed Claude Gov, under a protocol called Silent Holy City. This AI read through petabytes of intercepted Persian text messages, emails, and phone calls collected over years. It looked for tiny, subtle shifts in tone that a human would miss. But it gets crazier. Analysts used the AI to run dynamic video game-like simulations. Instead of a boring slide presentation, they would ask the AI, if we bomb this specific building right now, which escape route will the supreme leader take? The AI would calculate the exact probabilities in real time. However, behind the scenes, a massive political war was brewing over the ethics of this technology. Anthropic, the company behind Claude, heavily objected to their AI being used to kill people. On February 27th, literally hours before the bombers took off, President Trump ordered a federal ban on Claude, calling Anthropic a radical left AI company. But there was a massive problem. Claude was already so deeply wired into the military's kill chain that removing it would have aborted the entire mission. The military defied the ban and used it anyway. Following this operation, the Pentagon struck a deal to transition to OpenAI's ChatGPT and Elon Musk's xAI for future missions, specifically looking for AI providers willing to remove safety guardrails for lethal combat. When the actual attack began, the first shots weren't fired from a gun, they were fired in cyberspace. U.S. Space Command and Cyber Command completely dismantled Iran's air defenses digitally from the inside out. Cyber operators hacked in and paralyzed the communications of the Revolutionary Guard, meaning Iranian commanders couldn't even talk to each other to coordinate a defense. Space Command blinded Iran's long-range radars, creating a massive invisible corridor for over 100 coalition aircraft to fly through undetected. Meanwhile, to ensure the U.S. didn't lose its own connection, they relied on SpaceX's Starshield. By using lasers in space to bounce data between satellites, the US entirely bypassed Iranian internet shutdowns and signal jamming. Next came a true paradigm shift in warfare, the combat debut of the aerial brain swap. As US drones, specifically Anduril's YFQ-44A, flew toward Tehran, they were being piloted by an AI called Shield AI's HiveMind. HiveMind let the drones fly together like a flock of birds, avoiding obstacles entirely on their own without human operators, or even GPS. But once they reached the target area, the drones seamlessly downloaded a totally different AI, Anduril's Lattice, to handle the actual combat and missile locks. Think of it like updating an app on your smartphone mid-flight. If the Iranians found a way to jam one algorithm, the drones just downloaded a new brain and kept fighting. To pave the way for the heavy bombers, the US unleashed Task Force Scorpion Strike. They deployed a massive swarm of cheap, autonomous drones. Ironically, these were reverse-engineered versions of the very drones Iran makes, the SHAHED-136. Powered by that Lattice AI network, the swarm operated with a shared HiveMind. If an Iranian radar locked onto just one single drone, every other drone in the sky instantly knew the radar's exact location. The AI would automatically dispatch a few drones to act as decoys, while others dove in to blow up the radar. By flooding the sky with these cheap, expendable robots, they forced Iran to waste all their expensive interceptor missiles. With the defenses cleared, it was time for the kinetic strike. Surprisingly, they attacked in broad daylight. Why? To catch the leadership all gathered together at work. The trigger for the attack relied on an AI called Where's Daddy? Instead of tracking tanks or guns, Where's Daddy? Tracks the patterns of life connecting human targets to their family homes. When the AI confirmed that Khamenei, his family, and top advisors had all gathered at his compound, the order was given. B-2 Spirit stealth bombers dropped massive 30,000-pound bunker buster bombs, known as MOPs. These bombs smashed through bunkers so deep that the elevator normally took 5 minutes to reach them. The entire compound was reduced to gray dust, completely decapitating the Iranian government. The fallout was catastrophic. Iran instantly blockaded the Strait of Hormuz, threatening 20% of the world's oil supply and sending the globe into an economic panic. Retaliatory missiles rained down on the UAE, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia. But beyond the geopolitical chaos, Operation Epic Fury leaves us with a chilling ethical legacy. Remember that human commander from our first story? Critics point out that humans now spend a mere 20 seconds reviewing a target before letting an AI kill. War has become as easy and as detached as clicking a button on a screen. As we step into this new era, we are forced to ask, can algorithms become the ultimate judge, jury, and executioner? Thank you for watching the AI with Arun Show. Please like, share, and subscribe, and considering joining us as a member and supporting our work. We will see you soon.